Hello friends, welcome to the channel. Bob here, and this is my morning routine. Log in. I thought I'd show you. Log in. List. 8 on list. Would you like to join? No. Sit down. Camp. That's basically it. No real chance of getting this stuff, I don't think. I just think that's just life. There are much more important things going on in the world than pixels. Well, I'm sure not everyone would agree with that. But anyway, yeah, this is not what the video is going to be about. I just thought I would show you my kind of routine, morning routine. Hello friends, welcome back to the video. Okay, so now we've got the compulsory logging in to check the list out of the way. Let's get down to some proper gaming and play some get some stuff going on the old Enchanter. This video is, I'll talk a little bit about stuff that's going on, but this video is basically a big thank you to two people. I don't think they're in the zone this morning. No, Aylwin and Yukiri, I think it was. I've got a screenshot of them. I'll put them in. They'll probably be in the. Well, they will definitely be in the thumbnail. Basically, two people who I was in here last week. I think it was Yukiri asked if I had augmentation, which I didn't have at the time. I haven't bought it. I'm 29 by the way, so I've got clarity. Didn't have it, and about an hour later, they just kind of turned up and said, "Got a surprise for you. Here's augmentation." I kind of think that they, just kind of went and bought it. I wasn't sure. I don't know if they thought I was going to be on for a long time, so I could essentially kind of just keep buffing them with it. But I like to think that it was a super duper act of generosity. And that's good. That's not good. That's bad. Yeah. So I just wanted to say thank you. It was pretty awesome. That's what you get for not ruining. I think I'm going to put rune on now. Yeah, excellent. Just turned up, gave it to me. I buffed them, obviously. And it was just brilliant. Just one of those things. It was funny because I was just there, playing the game. Got to tell. I said I could give them clarity because I'd just got 29, and I think they were on their way, but they got it from somewhere else. But then an hour later, they just said, "Got a surprise for you." Had augmentation for me, which I duly memmed, and that was it. Yeah, just brilliant. Just one of those things that happen in the game, just out of the blue. Two people, cleric and a warrior, great combo, obviously. Just a cleric and a warrior. Just I shouldn't have done this. Waste of mana, but there you go. I've got clarity now. Kind of. Yeah, just an act of generosity that you find in games. I'm not sure I'd say often, but it happens a fair bit. And it was a nice. I hope this skeleton doesn't aggro. No. Yeah, and it was just a nice thing. So they will be in the thumbnail for the video. Salute to them. It was just awesome. As I said, it's just when those kind of things happen out of the blue, it's even more of a surprise. And and I was happy to buff them. Obviously, I wish I'd have stayed on longer to buff them for as much as I can. But yeah, I was kind of like on the verge of logging off, and there we go. But I'm level 29. I've got clarity. Heading towards level 30. I'm not sure if these skeletons will take me through level 30. I mean, it's good XP, so if they're still blue, I imagine it'll probably be fine. But people do ask me about my stuff, and I do apologise, and my stats and stuff, and I don't go over it. So I'm level 29, and these are my stats. Not very high, really. Charisma's quite low. That's even like with myself buff, my charisma buff. I think I get a new one at 34. And Augur, who's currently stuck in Lower Guck, has got a necklace, which I think is like a plus 12 or something. So there's another 9 charisma there. But I don't have much really. Like my rings are just intelligence rings. These are good cat eye bracelets, and you can get them quite cheap. +7 charisma, got 2 of those. I don't really have much else, to be honest with you. Earrings are stamina. Cobalt hide boots, which was a gift. Crude Stein, which has got 15 charisma. Like everyone should have one of those. And I've got a Stein of Maggot, which I quested for some intelligence and stuff. Yeah, so not brilliant. The thing with, I mean, people have always said on Blue that Charm is OP, essentially. And there's always a lot of discussion, arguments about the fact that whether it's too OP or not. You know, I kind of didn't really play an Enchanter back then, so I don't know. Some people say that it's working as intended. Some people say that you got a lot more charm breaks than you do. And, you know, a lot more charm breaks on Classic back in the day than you did on Blue. I don't know, but 165, it's working fine for me. I've had a few charm breaks. Yeah, but it's working fine. I can charm fine. I think from now on, I'll probably be charming pretty much all the time. I think when I get 30, I think if the Skellingtons take me to 31, I'll stay here. But if not, I'll probably work out some. Well, I mean, I'm going to improve my charisma. Don't get me wrong. You know, if I can get to 31 off of these dudes, then I'll probably go to get my necklace off of the Shaman. And then might go to East Commons, just see if I can pick up some extra charisma gear. I'd like to quest some stuff, really. I mean, I know that there's some earrings in... is it the Barkeep? Is it Unrest that drops +5 charisma earrings? Or is it Soul A? I can't remember. But I want to kind of go and camp some stuff myself. It's funny talking about like the Classic versus Green server. Previously, you know, I'm actually using a pet here, so yeah, it's one of the things I didn't mention. I think that's well, no, actually, I think it was more. No, sorry, it was Classic versus Kunark, wasn't it? I think what I like about the Green server in general is that you can, because equipment, like for me at the moment, even like a small upgrade, like if I got another 5 charisma, say, from an item, that's 170. That's a big upgrade. And I think the good thing with Green at the moment, I know it's not the same for everyone, because I imagine some of you have got to 50 and you got an alt to 50, and you know, you got all the stuff you want, and that's fine. But for someone like me, you know, like what is quite good on Green is that you can go and camp stuff yourself, and you can kind of feel like a real achievement of getting an upgrade, because any upgrade is a good upgrade at the moment if you don't have much equipment. Yeah, and I think that probably for a lot of people, you know, it didn't take long on Blue to get to a point where, you know, going to camp something with like +5 of a stat on it just became, you just didn't become worth it, you know, because you just got to a point where you had better stuff from twinking that you could go and camp. So I think that's kind of what I quite like about Green, is that because equipment is for me anyway, like most equipment, any equipment is a big upgrade. So going to kind of camp it yourself is quite an achievement. It's quite a good thing. So that's one of the big plus points I'm finding with this server. Yeah, and that's it really. Don't have much else to say about the game. I thought I'd talk a little bit about the situation. Like, our situation is not dissimilar to I think a couple of days ago when I did the video, the Project Gorgon video. If you watch that, it was funny because I'm not sure if it was deleted or not, but someone put up a video saying that they're kind of, you know, mind-boggling how the UK government is treating COVID, and that's not the impression that I get living in the UK. I think they're treating it very seriously. I think the mistake that they've made, and I only think it's probably a mistake that's happened this weekend, is that they're relying on people, in some cases like stupid, arrogant people, to follow guidelines. So we're saying, look, we're not putting police on the streets. We're telling you that this is what you should do. Please do it. And then people don't do it. So, over the weekend, there were loads of social gatherings for lots of different things. And it's mind-boggling to me. Just mind-boggling. It's... I think that there was a thing that, I mean, most of the celebrity reaction is just garbage, as you would expect. I'm not sure if anyone's seen that Madonna video sitting in the bath. Completely, and that's fine. She is completely detached from reality. She doesn't know what reality is, but unbelievable, really. But there are some good points as well. Like Ricky Gervais has been putting up some videos on Twitter that have been really funny. Kevin Bacon did a thing, and this is the key thing, I think, and what I don't understand why people are not doing as they're told, is that the Kevin Bacon thing is something like hashtag, the sentiment is, if you're not doing it for yourself, do it for someone like a vulnerable parent or grandparent or someone who's sick. And people are just, and I can get behind that. I mean, it's weird, people are just not doing stuff that just makes logical sense. If you're not doing it for yourself, do it for a vulnerable parent or grandparent or other family member. I just don't get it. It's weird. It's real. I mean, like this week we've decided not to go out even to the shops. Hopefully, it's difficult for my wife, because she normally goes out every day to work and whatnot. But that's kind of what we're aiming for this week. Because I feel, I'll be honest, I feel pretty anxious about the whole thing, as I'm sure many people do. I think the problem I have is not knowing. Well, it's like it for anyone really. No one knows what effect it will have on them. But I'm kind of worried about what effect my other condition will have, or conditions. If it was, and I'm not as bad as some people, and as I said before, I was long-term ill. My constitution was like superhuman, so you kind of hope that all those things will have an impact, but you don't know. So this week, we're not going out, or my wife's not going out unless it's an emergency, basically. So. And it just makes everyone feel a bit more comfortable. Makes me feel a bit more comfortable, And so far, I think we're okay. I think our household appears to be COVID-free, although you don't know. Maybe we've had it, it's gone, and it didn't have the effect that we were worried that people are worried about. You just don't know. I have to say that all these people going to events over the weekend is pretty crazy. And there's kind of you try and come up with things to excuse it. You think to yourself, just going back to the government thing, I think our government has been pretty good, particularly with regards to financial support up until this weekend. I think that it was clear this weekend was going to be pretty much our curve seems to be about the same as Italy at the moment. I think we're different from Italy. I mean, I know as someone who's been to Italy a number of times, that their culture is very community based. They have they have quite a lot of people living together. So often you'll have kids with their parents and their grandparents all living together. So I think that's quite different from here. So I think that was going to have an impact. I think the government didn't obviously act quick enough. It's a bit like China actually, and Japan. I'm quite surprised. But in Europe, like France and Italy, for example, Italy particularly, like when we used to go, it seemed as though everyone smoked, like everyone. Smoking in a lot of countries is still seen as just a thing that you do as part of lunch and dinner. You drink wine, you eat food, and you smoke. And I think that's probably have a big impact. I think as well as like old people and grandparents living together with their close family, I think they also do have quite an old population. They talk about the Mediterranean diet being good for you. I'm not sure about the smoking. I'm not quite sure how they have an older population with all the smoking that goes on. But I don't know. Who knows? You know, maybe in 100 years we'll find out smoking isn't as bad for you. Well, I can't imagine that's going to happen. But it's always weird how these things work. Like I know in Japan, they're quite heavy smokers in Japan. I think men particularly, but their average age, like mortality, is quite high. So who knows, you know. But yeah, I think those kind of things have contributed to the Italian issue. But I think this weekend was like a crossroads, really. What I really think should have happened is Thursday or Friday, you know, the government should have said everything stops, everything. You know, if you put on an event, whether it's a fun run or a bike run or a concert at Wembley, if you put it on, the cops are coming round. Simple as that. We don't care about your rights. We care about people's lives. This is what's happening. And they didn't do that, you know, and I feel that was an issue. I think up until this weekend, I was kind of all okay with how they were dealing with things, hoping people would kind of come along with them, you know, but they haven't done. And I can only imagine what the older generations are thinking, who sat through the war and stuff. You know, I know it's easy to listen to someone, an old person, talking about the war and say, I came through the war and we did this, that and the other, and go, oh, all right, yeah, whatever. You know, times are different, but yeah, some of them must be thinking, what the hell's going on? With the panic buying and all this kind, and the way people are acting. But that's what I think should have happened at the weekend. I think it was like a turning point. I think the government should have said, that's it. If we see, I honestly don't care about, when it comes to this kind of thing, if you don't do as you're told, there's going to be consequences, you know. And yeah, if we see groups of people somewhere, we're taking your registration numbers, we're contacting you, you're going to be in deep shit. You know, that's I think it's reached that point, really. When you look at the amount of people dying in Italy and stuff, you know, you've got to reach that point. But yeah, I'm a bit torn now, because as I said, up until like Friday, I thought they were doing okay. But you know, I think that they probably should have said, that's it, everything stops. You know, the only way you should be on the streets is if you're visiting a relative who can't get out to feed themselves, or you're going to the shop, you know, to feed yourself or your family. That's the only reason. But, you know, that still hasn't happened. I can only hope that, well, what I'm hoping today, it's Monday today, Monday the 23rd. All I can hope is that they've seen the videos and the pictures of what's gone on over the weekend. I'm hoping that they come out today and say, that's your lot. You know, we tried to help you. we tried to make it your decision. You know, we tried to let you take responsibility, but clearly some of you can't do that. That's your lot. You know, but yeah, it remains to be seen. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to sit here and probably, I might as well inch my way to level 30, I think, probably. And then I might go and play something else. I might have something a bit different for you coming up. There's like a few... I've got some more Daggerfall coming up, so don't worry about that. I know it's been a couple of weeks or so since the last video, but I've got a few new games that I'm looking at playing. So I might just do a video on one of those games, just so you can kind of see what it's like, really. What I also want to do for new games is now I've got my beefy processor and my new equipment, I want to try and record some high res videos. I don't have a 4K monitor at the moment. That's the next thing I'm kind of looking forward to. But I do have an ultra wide 1440p monitor, so I might try and record some ultra wide content. Yeah, because I just like to do some really, really high quality videos. But we'll see. I could do it on Everquest, I suppose, but I don't think that... I think I tried doing ultra wide on Everquest and it kind of works, but I think the yeah, it doesn't quite work. But some games that I'm kind of, you know, some new games that I'm looking at playing, things like Doom Eternal and that kind of thing. So I might do I might try and do a video of one of those games coming up, just so you can have a look, and I can test out some test settings, see what sort of quality I can get from YouTube, what I can squeeze out of the bit rates. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you're well. Keep yourself safe. Yeah, if you're having to go out because your job is considered crucial or critical, yeah, be safe out there. Take notice of all the stuff that we're being told. If you're working on the front lines, the NHS or whatever other health system, yeah, we all appreciate you, and yeah, we know you're doing the best you can. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.